Hey everybody, Dan Fitzgerald from Heartbreak Running Company here, checking in with two good friends. This is Mike Burnstein and Conor Cashin. Mike Burnstein is the founder of Janji, Run Janji. Makes you look good and does good. It's a running apparel line that always contributes to clean water projects in the countries that inspire their collections on a seasonal basis. So we're very excited to have Mike here and Conor Cashin, a good friend, GM of Heartbreak Hill Running Company, captain of the Heartbreakers. These guys were together recently in the Philippines on a photo shoot for Janji, but what I discovered through that was our own shared history with basketball. So this piece is designed to be a complement to what you'll get in your newsletter if you check out the newsletter from Heartbreak Hill Running Company. We're launching Heartbreak.run, so you can find this video there if you're not already watching it there. But let's talk to the men here. Let's talk about basketball. Mike, let's start with you. You mentioned that, we know that this trip was to the Philippines, and you mentioned that, well, I know that you've gotten around a bit around the globe as you've looked for inspiration for your Janji line, and you find pickup games wherever you go.
That's right. Yeah, it's I go to these places primarily for Janji, to explore running, more focused on that side. But my childhood passion has always been basketball, and I always kind of have a soft spot for it. And pickup basketball culture is something that's really cool, and it's spread around the world, and it's kind of it's just sort of seamless. Like you could be at a court almost anywhere, and the same rules apply. And so I always try to get a game in whenever I'm traveling, and it always seems to happen. It's pretty cool. And so that was something we set out to do in the Philippines, and ended up working out.
Yeah. So tell me about your basketball origin as a young man. When did you find the game, and what pros were you following? What was your team?
Yeah, I fell in love with the game of basketball probably when I was like 10, and I just got in deep. Like it was camps like all summer, and just like I was obsessed. Paul Pierce from the Celtics was my guy. They were my team. I went to his basketball camp and met him. That was cool. And then for me, unfortunately, the career was cut short because of that issue. Exactly. I top out at like 5'8", which just for more of a scoring two guard just doesn't cut it really at the high school level. And so I ended up running cross country in high school, and just like I initially did it to try to get in shape for basketball tryouts to try to make the freshman team. And I just, I clicked with that sport, and it just made sense to just stay running full time, which is what I kind of did all through high school and college, and ran, after college, ran Boston and whatnot. And then later in life, I've kind of recently found myself back in the basketball game, which has been fun.
Back balling. It's kind of fun that you had to step away from basketball to create this running life for yourself, founded a running brand, and now you are a global hooping connoisseur. Pickup games in how many different countries? Can you name them off the top of your head, or you don't even know?
Oh God, I know. Let's see. Definitely Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, Mexico. I have Taiwan. Probably 10.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
I don't think I've played basketball outside of New England. Maybe in Canada. Conor, what's your ball story? I know you played in high school, but when did you fall in love? Who was your athlete? Who was your team?
Yeah, I started playing basketball when I was super young. I've always loved basketball. Started at like the YMCA in an elementary school, playing in those leagues, and then played CYO basketball in middle school, and then started and played in high school as well. I've also been running my whole life too, but in high school we didn't have indoor track, so I was able to play basketball in the winter, which was awesome. So I played on the freshman team, JV, and then varsity, and started my whole senior year and stuff like that. And obviously, then I went to college and ran full time, and didn't get to play as much basketball as back in high school, but I still absolutely love it. And growing up, I was like in love with Allen Iverson. That was my guy. I was a point guard. I loved the crossover, and like I had a poster of Allen Iverson on my wall and everything. So that was my guy. Number 3. So Allen Iverson and Steve Nash, because in high school I was number 13 for Steve Nash. So And most of my numbers in my life are still 13. Like that's my go-to number.
So who'd you emulate yourself after more? Were you more like pass first? Were you trying to create for yourself, like Iverson?
I was more pass first. I wasn't like a huge scorer. I was mostly just stroking threes. That was my game, 3-pointer. I would penetrate when I needed to, but I mostly played the perimeter.
There we go. Yeah, I played. I started playing in middle school and played freshman, JV, and then varsity junior, senior year, and rose to captain of the worst team in the Merrimack Valley of Massachusetts, averaging about 2.6 points per game. I'm wearing a T-shirt now under my jersey here, just so that my size doesn't intimidate you guys. Had the same issue in high school where was pretty foldable in the post. So my illustrious basketball career earned me a small track scholarship to Boston College, and that was that. So now I'm so sad, unlike you, Burnstein, who still gets in some hoop. If I shoot for 10 minutes, I get like a sore elbow. I'm just like those muscles are so atrophied, it's pathetic. But let's talk about the Philippines. You guys went out there for a photo shoot. You did your modeling gig, Connor. You know, this whole thing started because a handsome man dropped out, and enter Mike calling me to find search all high and wide within Heartbreak to find the handsomest man. Took us forever. Finally settled on Connor. Got some cool tattoos. Fun guy in front of the camera always. And Connor had actually never been out of the country before this trip to the Philippines, and he had, 10 days notice to get a passport and fly across the globe.
Yeah, I never even really, not that I never thought about going out of the country. Obviously, I didn't even have a passport or anything like that. And I was like, Mike called me up and I said, oh, well, I gotta check with Dan and Justin. Like, that means I can't work. And he's like, no, I already talked to Dan. You're good. You can go. just tell me yes. And I was like, all right, sure, I'll go. That sounds good. So I got the passport and got on the plane, and 3 days later we were in the Philippines. So it was cool.
Yeah, so tell us about the culture there in basketball. You know, how'd you find the game? Where you played? How much ball did you get in?
So we played one night. Mike, like we spoke about just before, Mike had told me that he had been able to find a pickup game in pretty much every Janji trip. So he was happy that I was a baller as well. So we had kind of in the middle of the trip, we had a break in Manila where we had been away for a few days, and we were coming back to Manila to regroup, and we were like, okay, this is our chance to find a game. So we actually went on a run to find the courts, and we found one court, and it was locked and shut down, and we couldn't play. So then we ran to the next one, and we roll up, and it's this awesome court, right in the middle of this cool neighborhood. The court had a ton of graffiti, and all these kids were hooping, and they were playing music and stuff like that. And the basketball is really, really big in the Philippines. They love basketball. So we roll up to this court, and they see Mike, and they're like, oh, James Harden, because Mike's got the big James Harden beard. And right after that, they were like, you guys want to play? You'll come in next game. And we were like, oh, definitely.
Mike, I know you're in Somerville right now. You're on a basketball court. Does anyone there think you're James Harden?
Doesn't happen often. No, I have heard I've heard that reference before, especially when my beard gets a little bigger. But yeah, that was pretty funny over there.
You take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how'd the game go? You guys, I remember you said you're on opposite ends. Who won?
I think Mike's team won. Right?
I think we won. Yeah, it was crazy. They played to 100. I've never played pickup that way. They played to 100, and it was just crazy, fast break after fast break. Yeah, I'll admit that Cashin outplayed me. I was kind of bragging about my shot. I'd been fresh off that shooting competition, and it really wasn't going down for me. So he definitely got the personal win, but I'm a team guy, so we got the team win.
Let's talk about that shooting competition. You were, before you left for the Philippines, you were in a competition. You want to tell us what it was and where they sent you?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, kind of a young Mike dream come true scenario where my girlfriend happened to see something on Instagram from the Celtics that they were doing this hot shot shooting competition. where you like set your phone up and you use an app to record yourself shooting from different spots, and you have a minute to get as many as you can. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna like try as hard as I possibly can to try to win, because the prize was that the top 2 people got to face off at a Celtics game, which would just be like incredible. And so I must have tried like 100 times to just get as many points as I could, and kind of tried to like hack it a little bit to figure out like the best spots that was, the most effective to rack up points efficiently. And it ended up just being a top of the key 3-pointer for me every single time. That was the only thing I shot. And I ended up getting second place. So me and this other guy got to face off pre-tip-off at the Celtics game, and it happened to fall the same day that we were flying out for the Philippines. So the only reason I could do the competition was that it was before the game. So I went to the game, did the competition. I ended up tying, and like I won a tiebreaker, so I won the game. Even though neither of us shot very well, it was very stressful to shoot with no warm-up at the Garden. And then I literally didn't even stay for the game. Like, they gave me seats, but I just had to book it and catch an Uber and go right to the airport to meet up with Cashin and fly to the Philippines.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Got you a trip to Chicago where you represented the Celts too?
Yeah. So, that was the other really cool thing, is by winning the one-on-one competition at the Garden, I won an all-expenses-paid trip to represent the Celtics at All-Star Weekend against like people that won from all the other teams.
See, here I am. The only way I get Chicago is I have to pay rent there, and then Justin and I went over to the United Center to get in the United Center and watch a game, and we got there so late they wouldn't even let us buy tickets. We tried to sneak in. We couldn't even. We're like, please, can we just give you $20 again? Couldn't even get in. So I'm glad here you are shooting at the Garden, getting invited to the United Center. Must be nice, that ball life, global baller life.
Yeah, definitely a dream come true for sure.
So you guys mentioned that you played to 100. That was one odd circumstance of the game. Can we talk about the weather there and the other odd circumstance that you guys dealt with?
Yeah. So when we were on the way back to Manila, Mount Tall, one of the active volcanoes in the Philippines, erupted. And we were all kind of like in the van, like, oh shit, a volcano just erupted on the same island we're on, but we had no clue like how close it was or where it was. And so anyway, we get back to the hotel, kind of forget about it a little bit, and go out and play. And like while we're playing, I'm like, man, there's like stuff getting in my eyes and like stuff on my face. And I was like, oh, it's just like street ball, like it's all good. And then we ran back to the hotel after the game. And we were like, oh, let's go hit this is going to make it sound bougie, but let's go like hit the rooftop pool and the hot tub at the hotel. So we go up to the roof at the hotel, and they're like, oh, sorry, the pool is closed because of the ash. And we were like, because of the ash. And then we like looked at each other, and we were like, oh, wow, like the volcano. And it was only like 40 miles from Manila. So like all the ash was coming our way. And we played like with ash coming down on the courts, which is crazy to think back on it. And the volcano actually totally changed our whole trip. We ended up going to different places in the Philippines, and we had to drive really far and do a few other things because you couldn't run, you couldn't go outside. It's like now with everyone had their mask on and stuff like that. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah. Well, last question, guys. We're runners, we're ballers. Third place in the Boston Marathon or 12th man on an NBA team? Connor, you're first.
So, if you asked me this and I had no connection to Boston or the Boston Marathon like I do now, and I wasn't going to run on September 14th, I would definitely pick the NBA over third in the Boston Marathon. But I'll choose third in the Boston Marathon, and I would take that as I'd probably be top American too, which would definitely be a big deal.
True.
So I'll take top American and third place over the NBA. But like I said, I'll use it as my platform to promote pickup basketball and runners. All runners should grow up playing basketball. Who will be better athletes.
What about you, Mike?
So this is the second time Dan is asking us this question because we had a little bit of technical difficulty, and I answered Boston Marathon last time, and after thinking about it a little more, it's really close, but I might have to switch just because if you're the 12th man on the Celtics. You don't get in the game. Yeah, that's disappointing. You just get garbage time, but you probably have a lifelong career after that, broadcasting. You like think Scalabrine. I would love to be Scalabrine. Like the guy's kind of a Boston legend at this point. So that would be pretty cool. Although it's really a coin toss.
It's tough. We had our technical snafu. I've been thinking about this question every time I think about this interview. I'm like, which one would I really rather do? Running's fun. It's always been the sport I'm best at. It's been the sport that brought me all of my friends and relationships and business. It's really brought me everything. But before I identified as a basketball player. I wanted to play ball, and now I coach the Boston Celtics marathon team, which is like so fun to be in there. It's just so fun to be in their practice facility and see what goes on, and just feel like just a tiny bit of the family nature of the Celtics, right? And I can like just seeing that and just being like, just to be a professional basketball player is such another level of
it'd be sick.
It's tough, so I don't know. It was.
We were talking about the Michael Jordan documentary that we're excited for.
Yes.
Before we started recording, and I saw something online that was like, would you like you get 10 chances to score one-on-one against Michael Jordan for $5 million, but if you don't do it, you can't listen to music for the rest of your life. Like somebody was saying that, and then the meme was like was a video of Kevin Durant like with headphones on, and he was like bobbing his head and putting his shoes on, and it was like me before I lace up against Jordan, listening to my favorite song. So I would lace up. I would do it. I would score on him. That back three, I would get
There's no way. Even at whatever he is now, 54, there's no way you're scoring on him. No way.
Yeah, you see like those videos of like little kids at basketball camps, like 5-year-olds playing against the like NBA players, and they're just like swatting the layups.
Yeah.
Like that's so what it would be. You don't have a chance.
Well, I'm gonna answer. I won't just go tie. I'll say third in the Boston Marathon. With all that lead in about my life and running, I think I am forced to play that. But it's a harder question than you would think for the three of us as ball is life guys.
Yeah, seriously,
as ball is life first. So, Mike, I really want to thank you. You're a fixture around the Boston community, around the global hoop scene. You're so generous with your spirit, and the community around Janji is something that I know every Bostonian really appreciates. You can find more about Janji at runjanji.com. You can find Janji at the Heartbreak locations right here at Heartbreak.run. Mike, you want to share your Instagrams or anything else?
Yeah, we're at Run Janji. I'm at Burn_Chow.
Conor Cashin, we love you. You're the captain of the Heartbreakers. If people are here and they don't know where to find you, they got problems. But tell us where to find you and what anything else you want to share.
Yeah, you can find me at Conor Cash. That's Conor with one N. You can find me at Heartbreak Run Co. and at Heartbreakers Run as well. And at Run Janji these days. The collection's looking pretty sexy, I have to say. And we should play sometime.
Yeah.
When this is all done, we got to hit the court for sure. And the cool thing about basketball and running, I agree with you, Cash. You can do both. Like, you can definitely take running seriously and still get some shots up for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I need a little practice. I still have my Insta-Pump ball. You guys know the Insta-Pump? I don't know if they phased that out.
Oh, the pump is in the ball.
Has the little tiny pump. Yeah, I was like.
Yeah, it doesn't dribble well at all, though.
It does kind of suck, but I still got that for when I'm ready to make my arm sore with 10 shots.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm at Coach Dan BOS, boss, our airport code. Thanks so much, guys. Hopefully this tech works this time. Peace out, ballers.
Peace.
See ya. Thank you.